Hello, hello, everyone. Moving this stuff around a little bit. How are you? Hopefully, we can have a good signal this evening. I'll keep just waiting to see you lovely ladies logging on here. I have some earphones in. I'm going to try these tonight, and hopefully it won't interact very much. So while you guys are logging on and connecting, I see there's a couple people attempting to log on. Hey, Kim, nice to see you. Welcome to your first Truth Serum Tuesday. All right, so there's a little bit of a lag. So if you're logging on, just know, please make sure to say hi and let me know that you're here. I would love to say hi to you. And last week we didn't have a Truth Serum Tuesday because we were finishing up the Badass Belief Mastery Challenge. And so I'm hoping that we can get a signal going here too. So there might be a little bit of a lag and other people will be joining us. So last week we were doing the Badass Belief Mastery Challenge and we finished that up. And so we're back now on Truth Serum Tuesday. And well, actually, I think we did do one last week and it was all about, being gracious in the middle of chaos. And so I had that put to the test this last week when I had my car broken into. And so I wasn't always so gracious in handling that situation. And, you know, sometimes it's just okay to be human and say, okay, how do I want to handle it from this from now on, you know, when this happens and what I want to do about that. And, you know, I was mad and I just needed to be mad just for a second. So hopefully you guys will be tuning in here. Hey, Margaret, nice to have you. Hey, Margaret, keep an eye on how this connection is since we talked about getting some more robust equipment in my house for this connection. So hopefully we can, you can see how that is. I see some other people logging on. Make sure you log on. Make sure you say hello. I'd love to say hi to you. So I see a few more people. Hey, Shanna, nice to see you. Nice to have you on here. Oh, I have to tell you guys. So tonight we're talking about the feeling of receiving. And if, you know, have you guys ever watched the Food Network and they say like, I wish I had smell-o-vision or whatever? Well, I wish I had smell-o-vision because my wife is making me banana bread chocolate chip muffins. Banana bread chocolate chip muffins. And it smells so good in here so that when I'm done with this, guess what I'm going to have? That's right. I'm going to have a banana chocolate chip muffin. It's going to be fabulous. So, all right. Well, what I want to do is I want to get started. I have some notes here. Crazy. I feel like you can see me eating. Oh, what are you having? I can see you. Okay. So Thanksgiving holiday is over. Christmas is coming up. And what happens during Christmas is this is typically a season for giving. And I, as I'm sure many of you, love to be giving. I mean, we love to give gifts. We love to see people's faces. I mean, let me know, like with the thumbs up or the hearts or typing yes into the comments. Stay focused. You're distracting me. So, or type in the comments that this is the season of giving and you love giving and watching people receive what you're giving them. And really just watching the smile on their face. They, you know, say thank you. You know you've put a lot of thought into a particular gift. Or maybe you fix dinner for someone and they love it and you're giving that nurturing. So type yes in the comments if you love giving. Yes, 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 let me know. If you're logging on, please make sure to say hi. I would love to say hi to you. So when we talk about giving, a lot of times we feel like we constantly have to be giving. And that's what makes us feel good. But tonight it's about the feelings of receiving. How many of you have had resistance or hesitation to receiving a gift from someone? Now, it doesn't have to be just a material gift. It can be a compliment. How many of you have been complimenting, you're like, oh, it's okay. Like, oh, I can't believe you didn't. Hey, Dawn, nice to have you. Like, so someone has paid you this awesome compliment and you're like, yeah, well, it's not really that big of a deal. How many of you did that? Push yes in the say yes in the comments and push the thumbs up in the hearts. Let me know. I can't see the thumbs up and the hearts tonight. It must be because of the signal. So push yes in the comments if you've been paid a compliment and you downgraded the compliment just like that. I'm terrible at receiving. Veronica says yes. Margaret says I'm terrible at receiving. I have done that exact same thing. And within the last few years, I've learned to receive compliments. And sometimes it catches people off guard. You know, it's kind of like, oh, well, she's really taking my compliment. Hey, Adrian, we're talking about the feeling of receiving tonight and what makes us think that we can only give and that we don't get to receive. So we just talked about someone paying you a compliment. I'd rather be ahead. Well, Margaret, we need to talk about that. So receiving a gift, love giving, but then receiving back. And then we, for some reason, deep down, our heads say, oh, yes, I can say that. Oh, yeah, thank you very much, but it's no big deal. Instead of saying, wow, like you notice, you say, thank you for that compliment. And just allow yourself to feel good about it. How many of you have received a compliment, paused, and just really soaked it in? Push yes in the comments if you have. And you just really be able to say, wow, I did something great. I was talking to someone a couple days ago, and I paid them a compliment, and they're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, did you not just hear me? Like, I just said thank you, and I complimented you because it's the truth. And in that moment, my friend couldn't hear that truth about her. And what I do in these True Serum Tuesdays and what my goal is in this whole business that I'm doing is to empower women to say, wow, I did make that difference. Shannon says not very often. Margaret says yes. Was it me? LOL. Yeah. And when you really start paying attention to allowing that to soak in and be grateful to yourself, because so many times we keep achieving, driving, and we never reach the goal. And sometimes it's okay to just sit and say, I'm worthy of whatever. You know, I'm worthy of the compliment. I did do my best. I did do a good job. And so I can say, yay me. Because oftentimes there's so many times when we don't feel like that's appropriate. And I'm telling you right now, it's appropriate. How many of you agree that it's appropriate to praise yourself? Hey, Tammy, nice to see you. Push yes in the comments. Type yes in the comments if you feel it's inappropriate for you to praise yourself and say, I did a good job. I worked hard. I did my best. I'm here with Heather. Oh, hey, Heather. Nice to see you. Okay, so I was listening to this podcast in the truck when we were traveling for Thanksgiving. And it is the TED Radio Hour podcast. And it was called Give It Away. And so it's all about this musician who was really struggling to have people paying for her music. And so what she does now is that she doesn't charge for her music. When she tours, all she asks of her fans is to help her have a place to stay. And sometimes they give them food, for their dinner or whatever. So she says, as much as I'm giving my music away, I need to be able to receive those gifts that these people want to give in gratitude for what I am giving them. So how many of you have also given something and then wouldn't receive a grateful gratitude in return? and you say, oh, I don't need that or whatever. And that person is really genuinely wanting to say thank you. That is their way of saying thank you. And the times when we selfishly refuse that because we don't believe it's necessary or we don't think that we're worthy, really, maybe that person walks away saying, I really wanted to do this. This is how I wanted to be grateful. This is how I wanted to express how much it meant to me. So the next time you're not ready to receive something and you do that, think about the other person too. Maybe they're just trying to show love. So, yes, so Margaret says, tell me more about that, Margaret. I think it depends. So I'm not talking about when the person has ulterior motives, right? We're talking about people that are being genuine. We're talking about people that if someone genuinely wants to express their gratitude, and what's it for me to say that you don't get to do that? Because I want to be able to express my gratitude to people. There's so many people that are currently on this live video that I've expressed gratitude towards because they've made an impact in my life. There's people that are watching this video, not live, that have made an impact in my life, that have enabled me and encouraged me to get to where I am right now. And I am very grateful. Well, if they're actually genuine, then of course I accept. Yes, but have you ever felt weird accepting? So we're talking about pure, genuine giving and receiving here. So a couple of things that if you're not comfortable in receiving. So let me tell you this. How many of you on here, tell me within the last week, have you been able to receive something from someone else? Push yes, and then what is it that you received? If you've been able to receive something, doesn't matter. It was a compliment, it was a gift card, it was just an expression of gratitude for what you've done for them. You know, any of those things, it can be anything. So how many of you have been able to receive something this last week? Put yes in the comments and tell me what that was. And then when I received something, I used to be really embarrassed about it. And the more confidence, that fierce confidence I began to build in myself, that more just laser clarity on what my skills are, what my gifts are, how I use them, how I'm effective, I can welcome those receivings and it makes me feel good. I'll just admit it. So Dawn says yes. Margaret says, my husband told me I did a good job at my event. Yes, and I took it. Right, because you did. I was there. There's a proof on Facebook. There's a picture. Shanna says, yes, a roof over my head. Yes, my brother thanking me. Yes, 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 yes. And how did you guys feel after you were able to receive that? How did that make you feel? Type the feeling down in the comment. Because when I receive something, it makes me feel like I'm making an impact. And that's what this business for me, that's what my life purpose is. It doesn't have to be making an impact for thousands of people, but I want to make the impact just for one person. So if one person from this, seeing this live feed says, I'm going to then accept a compliment, and they can in turn. So Margaret says delicious. Dawn says good. Adrian says yes. My daughter's pediatrician thanked us for taking such great care of her. You do take awesome care of your child. She's beautiful, by the way. Made me feel like yes. Shanna says moving forward. So it gives you that extra boost because so many times we give, and for some reason, typically in our culture, the women, we're supposed to give and we're supposed to serve and we're supposed to do all those things. And what I'm saying is that you can do all those things and you can still receive too. If you're not able to receive, if someone pays you a compliment and in that moment you're like, I just doesn't feel okay or I don't feel good about it, I'd really ask you to really examine within yourself why you don't feel you're deserving of that. Maybe you say, well, I really didn't do that good of a job, or I could have done better. Well, in that moment, that's what you did, and someone appreciated it. So don't be so down on yourself all the time. Sometimes we devalue ourselves. Well, I should have known to do this, and I didn't know. Well, the fact of the matter is that you've accomplished something, and it makes an impact on somebody. And really honoring that. Because when we start honoring what we do for each other, what automatically happens, when we start receiving that, we raise our own vibration. When I know I'm making an impact, I continue to make the impact. Margaret says, I'm my own worst critic. Oh, anyone else feel the same way as Margaret does? Maybe not all the time, but sometimes. I can definitely be my own worst critic. That is not a no-brainer sometimes. And I think, oh, I should have done better. And then I'll do a training and people will say, wow, I never knew that information. Wow, thanks for telling me. Hey, Tula, nice to see you. We're talking about the feeling of receiving on True Serum Tuesday. So Dawn says, yep. So being our own worst critic is how we change those tapes in our head. And Adrian says, yes. Veronica says, yes. So it seems like that's a pretty universal feeling. We feel like we are our own worst critic. And when someone kind of gives us a boot, I don't know how to say it, like they go up against that wall where we think we aren't doing good enough. And they say, oh, well, this is a possibility that you did do well. Ask yourself, why can't I receive this right now? What is it within me that may not feel worthy of receiving this compliment? And then what makes you not as worthy as someone else who you would pay that compliment to? Because we are all worthy. We work our asses off. I know everyone on this call or on this video right now that is live works their asses off to do good in this world. And that's worth something. That means that we are making an impact. That means that we raise the vibration. I think I often feel like good isn't good enough. So, asking yourself. Sometimes those of us that have these huge expectations is that I wouldn't expect this of anyone else in the world. Why do I expect it of myself? That's another question. And then again, going back and being gentle with yourself. I've talked with a lot of people recently and they feel bad for things that have happened or they feel guilty, but they only knew what they knew then. And so when we're hard on ourselves, I should have known, I should have done better. Well, maybe sometimes you could have done things differently. Yes, sometimes I could do things differently. Absolutely. And I have to say, what do I want to take from that? What is it that's next for me? So when we talk about the feeling of receiving, really allowing, not shortchanging ourselves or other people from giving us things that we would love and that we do give to others. Because if you're only giving, it's like you're pouring out your cup and you need your cup filled back up. You need to be surrounded by people that can fill that cup back up for you, that can say, hey, keep going. You've got this, and that's what we're here to do in this Facebook group, this Authentic Feminine Life, is to really build each other up, to be able to have fierce confidence, laser clarity, and passionate purpose on how we want to be in our career, our businesses, and our lives. Because all of us have a gift to give somebody. We have a gift to give in this world. And only I can offer my gifts the way I offer it. Only you can offer your gifts the way that you offer them. And that's the beauty of it, right? So how many of you are willing this next week? You can type, I always say push. You can type in the comments section if you're willing. Yes, I am. How many are you willing this week to say thank you without anything else? Thank you to someone that wants to give you a gift. I need to hear. I think sometimes I give that will fill me up. Yeah. Oh, Dawn says you need to hear this right now. Yes, I love you. Love you, sister out there. So how many of you are willing to accept a gift? It doesn't matter how it comes. It doesn't have to be material. It can be a thank you. And you can just say, you're welcome, or you can just take it in. Not say, oh, thanks, you don't need to tell me that. No, none of the second part. Only the first part. You're welcome. Right? Thank you. And try and stop yourself, because we want to keep going. So I want to tell all of you that you are worthy of whatever gifts come to you that are genuinely from the heart from someone else. Kind words that we speak to others are kind words that can be spoken to us. Helping a person out, donating food, all of those things. Those are all great. So we can give and we can receive all at the same time. None is more important than the other. They are both wonderful. So, all right. Veronica says yes. Margaret says, I will say thank you. Margaret, you can't say anything else but that. I know it's going to be hard for you. Tula says yes. Tula is one of my soul sisters from my PhD program who is kick-ass, phenomenal woman, and I love her. So I'm so glad she's saying yes, because she does so many things for so many different people. Okay, so I'm going to end it with that, and know that the feelings of receiving can be plentiful, and the more that we open up to that receiving, the more that will come into you. Okay? And you can enjoy that. You can relish it. So, one more thing I want to add. If those of you who have registered for the Badass Belief mini workshop, that's going to be tomorrow night. Unfortunately, the card is closed. So for whoever else wants to do that, you'll have to wait till the next time. It'll come around again. That you will be receiving an email tomorrow with all the information that you need to go and go into the workshop tomorrow night. So thank you so much all for being here. I love you all. I really want to challenge you. Be open to receiving without fear or doubt or questioning. Just receive it, soak it in, feel it, and know that you're worthy of whatever comes to you. All right, so I love you all. I'm going to go have some banana chocolate chip muffins now because my house smells phenomenal. So, okay, I will see you all on freaking Let It Go Friday. Coming up 3 days. Freaking Let It Go Friday. Don't miss it. Love you all. Bye. Mwah.